You see that standard light switch? Well, we're going to remove that and put in a dimmer switch. You want to know how to put in a dimmer switch? Stick around. Here's the switch we're going to put in, and it's a different style. It's a paddle, on, off. And see, this one has a little nib right there, and that's your dimmer. Up for high, down for low. That's what we're going to install. Now, before you do anything, and I mean anything, turn your light switch on, verify that your lights work, then you're going to go outside to your electrical panel, you're going to find the associated breaker for that. Turn the breaker off so that we know there's no power to this light switch. That's my next step. Kind of in a tight area, I think you're going to be able to see this. First have to undo this cover plate. And this is an old style standard single pole light switch. I'm going to put in a standard single pole dimmer switch. Okay, just recently spray textured this. I've already got the power off to this. I've already checked all that. The lights are off, the breaker is off. Okay, so the next step is to unscrew this switch, and you're going to see two screws, one down here at the bottom and one up here at the top. Okay, yeah. Go ahead and unscrew those now. We're going to pull that out of the wall. Now I'm going to gently pull this out, and it's got a white wire and a black wire going to it. And I flip it around on the other side, and see there's two screws there. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and undo these two screws. Man, there's not much wire sticking out of that box, is there? Usually there's about 6 inches there. Well, they didn't do us any favors there, did they? Okay, so I'm going to just take my screwdriver. You don't want to do this hot. You could shock yourself. You're a professional electrician. They've got certain ways they could probably do this without getting shocked. Okay.
You get shocked.
And at this point, don't ask yourself any questions about white and black wires. There's supposed to be a black wire, a power wire to each one, but I'm going to explain this here in a minute. Okay, now there's a curly Q on the end of each wire, and I might be able to take my screwdriver and kind of tweak on it a little bit, you know, and then try to fish this out, maybe bend a wire and kind of push up on it a little bit. And you know what? There's a little something on the side. Oh, there it goes. Okay. I've got that one. And now I can unscrew this one or just pull it off like that. Now, if you can't get it, you can't get in there and get that curly Q off, if you want, you can undo this screw here. It seems like it's a little bit hard to get off. It's designed that way. Okay, you can unscrew that and take it off that way. Okay, that's your next step. What you could also do is you could take the old switch and you can put the cover plate back on it and put the screws back on it, and you could save this in case another one of your switches goes out in your house or whatever. Okay, if you think you need to save that, you can. Okay, now let's talk about this for a brief minute. We only got two wires coming in here. We got a white wire and we got a black wire. Well, normally black wire is your hot wire. The white wire is usually your neutral wire. Okay, well in this case, we don't have that. We don't have any other power coming into this box. We know there's only one piece of cabling and the cable has this white and black wire in it. They strip the cable off, and that's all they have. We know the power, the switch leg goes up and turns the lights on. So they got to get power. They're getting power from an existing box somewhere else. And generally it's up at your light fixture or something like that. So what they did in this case, this is an old house. It's over 50 years old. And what they've done is they've taken the power from the ceiling light box and they've run it down here. So one of the legs is power coming into the box and power going out of the box. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but this white wire, it's got a little black piece of tape there. They didn't do a very good job on that, did they? That black piece of tape means that they were isolating this white wire as a power wire, just as a black wire. We know there's power coming into this box with one wire, power going out up to the light switch with another wire, okay? And generally it does not matter which is which, but I wired up in the attic from the existing ceiling fan box, the ceiling light fixture box, but there was a junction box that I made up in the ceiling. And I made a video all about that. If you want to watch that, that's on my channel too. It's part of this series that I've been doing. As we just installed some can light fixtures and we're changing those and we're making dimmer. We're installing this dimmer switch on these can lights. Now there's two there. And here's some more right on down the ceiling here. So I've got 5 can lights. I'm tying in to this new dimmer switch in the wall. Okay, they just didn't want the regular light switch anymore. Okay, so far, hopefully you understand that. I'll keep talking as we go. Don't worry. Now here's our new dimmer switch. It's got a lot of wires coming around here. What on earth? Let's see, here's the green wire. This green wire is a ground wire, so we're going to hook that up to ground. And if you looked inside that box, we only initially had a white wire and a black wire. We don't have a ground wire in there. And this is an old, very old house, and we're gonna have to decide what to do with that ground wire in a minute. Okay, let's get back to this thing here. We look out of the back and there's a red wire here, there's a black wire, and there's a red and white wire. See, it has a little stripe on it. Now in this particular dimmer, and the dimmer's facing down, up for power, up for high, down for low. Okay. Now this white and red wire, that's for a 3-way, so that's kind of slick. You can use this either as a single pole or a 3-way, meaning you have one of these. If your light fixture gets turned on and off at 2 different light switches, you can put this in one of the particular light switches at one end of the room and make it a dimmer. Okay, and that's what that red and white wire is for. So we're not even going to use that. Our case, we got a black and a red. These are the 2 powers. And in the wall, remember, we had a white wire and we have a black wire. Now both of those are power in this particular instance. Okay, so the black wire I'm going to hook up to black, and the red wire I'm going to hook up to the white wire. And incidentally, that white wire should have a black piece of electrical tape around it, and then we would have known that was a power wire. Now if they, in normal, most of the time when I hook up electrical, I usually always come up to the box first with the power, which is a black, white, and a ground wire, and then from there I go up to the light fixture with a black, white, and ground wire and go up. Then I connect the 2 white wires together and I got a black wire left coming into the box, and I got a black wire going up to the light fixture. And then I connect the ground wires together and voila. In this case, we don't have that. We got power coming into the box and we got this white wire, which is power going out of the box. And you saw that little black piece of electrical tape. And what I'm going to end up doing is putting electrical tape on this wire. The last electrician should have done a little bit better job on that. Okay, and I know that because there's only 2 wires in here. Okay, there's nothing else in that box. And on most light switches, you know, on most standard single pole light switches and on most light switches, you don't hook up a white neutral wire to them. You always got a black coming in, a black going out up to the light fixture. Okay? So, what are we going to do now? We're going to do now, you saw the ends. We got curly Q ends on those 2 wires. And on these, we just got the little end coming up with the tail. Okay? The other ones have a tail too. What we're going to do is we're going to use wire nuts, and in the box, I'm jumping back and forth a little bit, so bear with me. Okay, in this little bag comes some wire nuts, the mounting screws, and that. So I'm going to use the yellow wire nuts, and I'm going to connect the wires together. But before I do that, I have to get back up in here, don't I? I got to take my pliers, and I'm going to gently. Man, they just didn't give me much room, did they? I'm going to twist that back and straighten that out. And then, more than likely, I'm going to cut a little bit of that tail piece off. I don't have to strip any more of the wire back, and I'm glad I don't, because I don't have much wire coming out of there, right? See how long that bare copper is on there? It's just a little bit too long. You see? Because I want it to fit underneath my small little wire nut. And on here, you see how long that's coming out? It's not coming out very far. Alright, so I'm going to cut these back just a little bit. I've got some little cutters here. Let's get you back here. Most of the time I try to get it done better, but I'm right up against the wall here. Okay, so I'm going to cut just the tip of this off. Cut off a little bit. Okay, I got just about enough right there. That's your next step. We're getting ready to hook these up, but there's something we got to do first before we put wire nuts on there. Well, I got my pops here, so if you hear anybody talking in the background or whistling, it's this little bugger right here. Hey.
Yes, I'm watching this intently.
Okay, you're my Mr. Inspector here to make sure that I hook this up properly, right?
I want to see it properly, and I want to see it done correctly.
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up this ground wire. Because I have it, I've got a screw inside this existing box, and I'm going to attach it to the metal screw. I'm going to take this and I'm going to make a curly Q in it. And let's see if I can do this so that you can see what's going on. I'm going to take this right here, and I've got little holes right here. And I'm going to take that and I'm just going to kind of curl it like that. Okay? Now I'm going to reach in that box and loosen up an existing screw, wrap that around there, and screw it back in so I get that connected. That's my next step.